Good folks, Ruds here, back with a hardware review this evening. Leaf Shave Razor. This is a brand new company. I think they've been around for about 6 months now. They ran a successful Indiegogo for this razor, which is their take on the modern cartridge razor that uses half DE blades. I don't know if you can see the logo right there. This is the chrome version. It comes in black, rose gold, or chrome. Retails for $75. Comes with a nice stand, so it would sit like this in the stand. Has their logo on the back. And they have also included this beta testing single blade holder for edging. I'm not going to use it tonight, but that's kind of they've asked their supporters for feedback. So Leaf Razor sent this over to me for a review, and may shock some of you guys that I'm going to try a cart type razor, but I wanted to give it a fair shake, so I've been using it extensively over the last 3 to 4 weeks. And I can tell you it's very well built. Has this screw mechanism back here. You unscrew it. There's 3 distinct slots for the blades, and within each one of these areas there's some magnets to help blade placement, and when you tighten it down there's absolutely no play in those 3 half DE blades. You can run it with 1, 2, or 3. It's your choice. I've found that 3 is the ideal for me. And so let me get lathered up. I'm going to do face shave partially, talk about the razor a little more, and then I'll do some dome shaving and talk about the razor a little more. Alright, so let's get going with the shave. The handle on this razor measures 4 inches to the Y here, and then another 2 inches to the top of the head, so it's 6 inches overall, which I find a bit unwieldy when I'm using it on my head. I think you'll see that later on in this shave. The head itself is, like I said, it secures the blade very well. I do find loading to be a bit cumbersome. Working with half DE blades is not really my cup of tea, but it does its job once it's locked into place, and with proper care. I don't see anybody really hurting themselves. The razor itself is extremely mild, which requires me to do 3 full passes on my face, and I'd say it's probably the aggression of maybe a Gillette Tech, maybe even slightly less. So anybody with sensitive skin or that prefers mild razors would really like this. The pivot is not as flimsy as I remember from modern cartridges, but it's not cumbersome to push down. I don't feel like I'm putting too much pressure when I try to engage the pivot itself. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll complete the other 2 passes here off camera, lather the dome, and we'll come back. We'll talk a bit more about the razor with while I'm doing a little dome shave. We'll talk about those dynamics next. Alright, so we've got the leather helmet all built up, and we'll get started here. I find this razor, I like it better on my head. I just don't prefer more than 1 blade on my skin, on my face. Should be noted that the gap here is extremely small, so rinsing is important. And if you're coming from the DE world, you may not be used to rinsing as often as this requires. But you know, that's not anything new. If you're using cartridge razors, I think you have to rinse just as often with cartridge razors. If you're not, you're probably not getting the most efficient shave out of those type of modern cartridge razors themselves. Because of the mildness of this, again, it's mild, so I have to go over the same spots on my head several times to get it where I want it to be. Whereas with a DE razor, with a pretty good aggression, I do one pass against the grain with just some slight buffing in my trouble spots. As you can see, the handle is quite long, so I opt for a very tight grip towards the top of the razor while I'm doing my dome shave. The razor itself performs well on the dome. I'm already nice and smooth, as you can see, and I've gotten no irritation, whereas in the past when I've tried a cart on my dome, I did get some ingrown hairs going against the grain, so that's a plus. For anybody that's into multiple pass shaves, 3, 4, 5, this is going to be quite a pleasant surprise. Unfortunately, it still doesn't make a great travel option because you still have to struggle with the TSA guidelines regarding DE blades. So in my mind, this is more of a stay-at-home type razor. And you know, unless you're willing to mail yourself blades or check a bag or buy blades at a local pharmacy, but in my opinion, the blades at local pharmacies are not as up to snuff with some of my favorite DE blades that I use on my head. So I'm going to finish the rest of this head shave off camera as I did earlier with the face shave, and we'll come back and we'll wrap up this shave and have some final thoughts. Alright, we're back, folks, with some final thoughts on the Leaf Shave Razor. In my opinion, this razor really could be really cool for anybody that's into the modern cartridges and wants to have a more affordable option with the same functionality. You know, DE blades are cheap. You buy a pack of 100, you snap them all up, and you can use these. I still am a two and done with all my blades kind of guy, but I can see this pushing 5 or 6 shaves easy, based on there being 3 blades in there and it doing its job quite well for you. Anybody in the traditional hobby of wet shaving probably wouldn't really opt for this. It's more of a novelty. It's cool. It's a good change of pace. Although I would suggest, if any of you gentlemen are trying to get your wife to use a soap and a brush and they insist on modern, maybe pick one of these up for them. It's mild enough that they can get their legs and their underarms quite clean with just a couple of passes with no irritation. As you can see, I have zero irritation, and I am not used to using this style of razor at all. So kudos to the fine folks at Leaf Razor. I'll link the website below if you care to check it out. I definitely suggest you checking out their YouTube video on their page about how to load the blades. Shows how intuitive it really is with those magnets. As always, thumbs up the video if you like it. Comment below if you have anything to say. And if you're not already a subscriber, why don't you become one? See ya.